Okay, hi everyone. Today we are going to actually have a lesson on graphing a linear equation using slope and intercept form. Okay, so let me share my screen first. Now over here we see one example. Okay, this is actually from A-3. A-3 slope and y-intercept. Example 4 on page 417. So we will try to graph a linear equation using the slope-intercept form from a linear equation over there. Okay. But first, before we start the lesson, we want to actually review something important. So let me see if I can write over here. Okay, today's learning target is I can graph a linear equation using slope and y-intercept. All right, before we start the lesson, we want to actually do some do-now questions, okay? So the first one is, I want you to actually look at this fraction, -1/3, okay? And I want you to rewrite this fraction into another form with one number on top in your numerator, one number at the bottom in your denominator. But no sign should be left in the front this time. Okay, so think about how you want to do this. Second one, we wanted to rewrite number 2 into a fraction, numerator over denominator. Number 3, rewrite -1 into numerator over a denominator. Okay, so these are 3 questions I want you to think about first. You may pause the video and try to fill in the blanks. Okay, all right. So number 1, please understand there is a rule, okay, you need to follow regarding how you rewrite the fractions, especially with the negative sign in the front. So if I give you -a over b, please understand this equals to -a over b, or a over -b. All 3 forms are equivalent. So let's see what happened, right? First, you may leave the negative sign all the way in the front. Now, can you move this sign to your numerator? Give the negative sign to a and then over b like this? Yes, you can. Then can you choose to leave the sign to the bottom, your denominator? Then you would have a on top, give the sign to b, then -b at the bottom. So please understand all 3 fractions are equivalent. All 3 are right, okay? So according to this, we can actually rewrite -1/3 into either you give this negative sign to 1. So you would get -1 on top, right? Then you will copy down 3 at the bottom, in your denominator. Or you have another way. You can choose to give the sign to 3. So you would have a -3 at the bottom. And then you didn't give anything to 1, so leave your 1 on top. So both are the same. So -1/3 can be rewritten into -1/3 or 1 over -3. Okay, so please understand that. Now, second one, if you have a whole number 2, how do you rewrite this into a fraction? Some students may know you can actually do 2 over 1, because any number divided by 1, you still get this number itself, right? Okay, the last one, same idea. This is an integer, but it's a negative number. So -1 equals to -1 over 1, same thing. Any number over 1 equals to this number itself. Okay, so please make sure you understand this first. Because today, when we try to graph a linear equation using slope and y-intercept form, or slope and y-intercept, first thing you need to know how to rewrite any slope you see in the linear equation into a fraction form like this, because we may follow rise over run, okay, to do the moves in your graph to finally have a line. Okay, now, next, we are going to start, let me see, number one. All right, so we continue. Now today, example one, you are actually going to graph one equation. It's called, let me see, y equals to -1/3 x plus 2. So sometimes you may see a linear equation like this. And remember, this is your y equals to mx plus b form, okay? Mx plus b form. What is m? Remember, m is your slope. M is your slope. What is your b? In this case, is number 2. B represents your y-intercept, which is where your line crosses y-axis. Okay, so when you see a linear equation like this in this specific form, actually first thing you need to know is your slope is 91/3, your y-intercept is 2. Now next, we wanted to think, okay, we need to graph a straight line for this equation in this coordinate plane. So first, make sure you understand what are you doing, right? Your goal is to graph a line. You need a line, right? And if you want a line, what do you need? You need at least 2 points. At least 2 points, right? Then you can connect 2 points into a line, right? Any line. As long as you have 2 points on the line, you can connect the 2 points, you have a straight line. You need 2 points. Okay, my next question is, guided question, okay? Can you locate 1 point using y-intercept? Can you locate 1 point first using y-intercept? What do I mean? Look at the y-intercept over here. It's 2, right? And if I tell you the y-intercept is 2, do you remember the definition for y-intercept? It has to be something. It has to be where, for example, if your line looks like this, suppose at the end, right? You have a line like this. Where is your y-intercept? This is your y-axis. The y-intercept is where this line crosses y-axis. So right here on 3. So my y-intercept would be 3, right? Now let's work backwards. If I tell you the line you're going to graph has a y-intercept number 3, then do you think you can locate this y-intercept according to, do you think you can locate this point, right, on your y-axis using y-intercept? So let's take another look. In this question, the y-intercept is 2. Your y-intercept is 2. So guess what? I need to find number 2 maybe on the what? On the y-axis, because y-intercept is 2. According to the definition, my y-intercept 2 must be where my line crosses y-axis. Okay. So, sorry. Let's do this. Oh, I don't want to erase the other thing. Okay, so let me just change the color. I'm using blue, okay? Let me see if I can go back. I can actually go back like this. I don't know. They don't allow me to erase. That's fine. Okay, so let's see. We want to do y-intercept 2. Y-intercept is 2. So first step, we want to locate a point on y-axis, right? Using y-axis, using y-intercept. So first point, you already got it. It should be 2 on your y-axis as your y-intercept. Okay, now the next question is question number 1, okay? Question number 2. Can you move, right, to another point? Can you make some moves? Can you move? Move from where? From y-intercept you just located to another point. But how do we move? We have to move based on something using slope. When we talk about slope, we have to remember, actually, we can express slope using rise over run. So let's read this question one more time, okay? After you got the first point right here, from this point, you need to find another point, because in order to get a line, we need 2 points. So in order to find another point, we actually now want to use our slope. Okay? When we use our slope, we're going to recall what we learned before regarding rise over run. What do I mean? -1/3 is your slope. Now, can you rewrite this slope into a fraction, right, to represent rise over run? And that goes back to the do now question at the very beginning of the lesson. So we have multiple choices. We can give negative sign to 1, right, on the top in your numerator. So you may have -1/3, or you may do 1/-3. Either way is fine. This is your rise, this is your run, okay? Both fractions are good to express your rise over run. Okay, now if we can express our slope using rise over run, then actually rise over run tells you how to move. So let's come back to this question one more time. Can you move from the y-intercept, this point, to another point using rise over run? So let's try it. If I take, all right, I want to take this one first. I want to use 1/-3 as my rise over run. So my rise would be 1. My run will be -3, right? So from this first point, I'm going to do rise first. Rise is 1. +1 means you go up. -1 means you go down. Rise can be up, rise can be down, okay, depending on the sign. So +1, I'm going up 1 unit right here. Then run is horizontal move, okay? Run is -3. If run is positive, I'm moving to the right. But now run is a -3, so I'm moving to the left. 1, 2, 3. I move 3 units to the left to represent -3 for my run, okay? So one more time from here. Rise is 1 unit, +1, so go up 1 unit. +1, go up 1 unit. Then -3 for the run, you run to the left, 3 units. So now, after doing rise over run using the slope, we actually locate the second point. Okay, and then we got 2 points. So if we want the line, we can just connect these 2 points, and the line is right there. Okay, so if you want to do more moves, actually you can. You can do another, going up 1, go to the left 3. If you want more points, right, to make sure you can draw this line perfectly. Oops, I'm sorry. Let me see if I can have straight lines. Yes, I can over here. Okay. All right, so my line is ready. And this line will be representing y equals to negative 1/3 x plus 2. All right, over here is a plus 2. So basically, that's it. So one more time, what are we doing today? We are trying to graph a straight line, graph a line using the linear equation we see. And in this linear equation, you are going to see in the question, you should be identifying your slope and y-intercept first, and then use these two pieces of information to help you to locate 2 points. So let's review one more time, okay? The steps we're taking today. So step 1, first you identify slope and the y-intercept. You need to know your slope, you need to know your y-intercept from the equation. Okay, now step 2, plot or graph, plot first point, which is your y-intercept. Go to your y-axis, find that number. Step 3. Move from first point to second point using slope. Of course, how do you use slope? You got to rewrite slope into rise over run form. Then you can move. Step 4, connect. Connect 2 points you graphed. Connect 2 points to draw a line. Okay, that's it. All right, now let's do one more practice. Okay, let's see. Example 2. For example, if we do y equals to negative x plus 4, right? Now, first step, identify the slope and y-intercept. So first, your slope is, okay, it's a little tricky. The slope is the number before x, right? But there is no number before x. There is only a negative sign. So guess what? You got to understand negative x equals to negative 1 times x. Okay, these two are exactly the same thing. Negative x equals to negative 1 times x. So what is the slope? Slope is negative 1. So slope is negative 1. Okay, now y-intercept. Y-intercept is positive 4. Now step 2. Can you plot the y-intercept first? Yes, of course we can, right? Y-intercept is 4. So plot 4 here first. Plot y-intercept. 4 on y-axis. You gotta know your y-intercept is always on y-axis. Step 3. Can you move, right? Using slope, which is negative 1. Now, rewrite negative 1 into into this fraction form. We can do negative 1 over 1. Of course, if you want, you can do 1 over negative 1. this sign can be moved down, it's the same. Okay, either you leave it in the on the top or leave it at the bottom. Both are the same. Now, how do we move from this first point? I may do rise over run. I may choose rise as a positive number. If you don't want to do a negative number, that's the same thing. You know what? Let me do this one because the first example I did a positive rise first. Now let me show you how to do a negative rise. So from here, if this is my rise, -1. So from my first point here, -1 for my rise, I'm not going up. I'm going down because it's a negative rise. -1 means going down for 1 unit. Okay, and then my run is +1. +1 means I have to run to the right. So go down 1 unit first for -1, right? For the rise, go down for 1 unit. +1 for run, go to the right for 1 unit. Now my second point is right here. Second point is right here. If you want to do more, go down, go to the right. You have another point, go down, go to the right, another point. Okay, just in case you wanted more points to make your line on the right spot, exactly on the right spot. Okay, all right, this is y equals to -x plus 4. So write down the equation along next to the line. Okay, now if you want to practice today, I actually can give you some work to practice. It's going to be page, it's going to be 8-3 that PDF I showed you at the beginning, page 418. You can try number 11, number 13. Okay, so let me quickly show you right here. So 8-3 on page 418, number 11, 12, 13. So identify slope and y-intercept of the graph of each equation first, and then graph the equation using slope, like first one 7, and y-intercept 3. Okay, so practice these 3 questions and make sure you know how to graph any linear equations using slope and y-intercept. Okay, thank you very much. I will stop sharing and stop the video.